This week's Extra Life on F5 Live is proudly powered by EXA. EXA brings the latest technology to gamers, offering the most immersive products for the ultimate gaming experience. They've compiled the best elements of cutting-edge ENC tech, the latest in Bluetooth 5.0 and 7.1 surround, plus extra features like dual mics, ultra-low latency into their headsets so everyone can enjoy a sensational gaming experience. And they've got headsets for Xbox, PlayStation, Switch, and PC, plus they won't break the bank. To learn more about the headsets that are available and any current promotions that are going on, you can go to f5live.tv/exa. I have been messing around with a set myself lately, and so far, really liking them. Hello, Internet. Sorry for the interruption. I just want to let you know we're doing an audience survey to get to know you better, what you like, what you don't, what we might need to change. It's completely free. It takes about 60 seconds. If you go to PLUGHITZlive.com/audience and fill out the survey, you'll be entered for one of 2 CES prize packs with bags and shirts and a whole lot more. Again, it takes 60 seconds, PLUGHITZlive.com/audience. And now, back to the show. Anyway, Netflix games. Netflix has gotten really, really into gaming in the last 4 or 5 months in particular. They've had, some presence in the space. There have been some licensed games before that. They announced in 2020 that they were going to get into the gaming space. We saw the Stranger Things mobile game. I think it came to consoles shortly after. But it was last year, the end of last year, where they really started to go. Through your Netflix subscription, you could get access to certain mobile games. In particular, again, it was the Stranger Things games that were available. There were also a couple of, there was a basketball game, I think it was called Shooting Hoops. There was another something, I don't remember what it was, maybe a bowling game and something else, but it was mostly the Stranger Things games. Since then, they've added additional games to the lineup. It works very similar to Apple Arcade or Google Play, what's it called? Google Play something? Pass. Google Play Pass, where for a certain amount per month, you get access to a bunch of games with all the content unlocked. In this case, it's already included in your Netflix subscription. This week, though, the company bought their 3rd studio. So they already had 2. This week, they picked up a studio called Boss Fight Entertainment. They have a game that, interestingly, I see ads for in another game that I play all the time. It's called Dungeon Boss. Pretty successful game in the strategy RPG mobile game category. My guess is that we will see it come to Netflix games soon, if it's not already there. I haven't looked today, but my guess is we'll see it come to the platform pretty soon with all the content unlocked. I think it shows that it's that the company is really serious about this. What do you think, Abram?
Yeah, sure. I mean, obviously they want to expand. Netflix wants to expand its horizons, so it's got to do more to get into the gaming space if it really wants to compete with with other services. Now, interestingly, when you think about it, I was talking with some of my coworkers this week, and the consensus seemed to be that Xbox Game Pass is the only, Xbox is the only viable game streaming service right now.
Until Spartacus is announced this week.
Yes, I guess until that. But they don't seem to think that Google's service or Nvidia GeForce Now are, even though both are still in business, are serious players.
Yeah, the thing that separates this one from those, right, is that you probably already have it, which I think is a little different. It's kind of like how we talk about in the Prime promo that you already have Prime, so why not use Amazon Music and Prime Gaming and whatever. This is kind of the same thing in my book. You've already got Netflix. Almost certainly. If you're listening to this show, almost certainly you've already got Netflix. So this is just already part of it. Enjoy it.
Yeah, interestingly, there was, speaking of games, and I don't know if this was resultant from them any of their investment in gaming. Perhaps you do. I use their Netflix has added some interactive like
Hmm.
programming.
They've gone into
Uh
that a lot
my
more.
So the other day my son and I went through all the possibilities on this thing called, what's it called? Cat Burglar. Was a
Okay.
cartoon, and
That's a
on
new one to me.
Netflix.
That's a new one to me.
Yeah, and really, really fun. Like
Hmm.
what it is like the cat like there's a cat trying to like steal a painting from a museum, and there's like a dog security guard that's trying to stop him, and there's like 6 or 7 points in the thing, and you don't have a choice. It's not like you get a choice of things. There's like trivia questions that you have to answer using your remote control, and if you
Oh,
don't answer the trivia questions, then basically your cat, I wouldn't say dies, loses,
sure.
and you have to start over again. And you can keep, but even if you play it over and over again, like the content changes, not just the questions, but like
Okay.
how the dog is chasing the cat around. And there's like, and then each time you win, you like get a new painting on your wall, and there's
Oh,
like, so I had to play that thing for like a, now it's not like one of those AAA games that you're going to play for 50 hours, but
sure.
we had a good like solid hour or 2 hours of fun with that thing, like going through it and like playing the trivia stuff. And it is the thing that really got me about it, which is, I guess, different from the game aspect of it, is that it looks and feels and sounds like the way it was animated, the way it was, the music that they used, whatever, just like a 1950s Warner Brothers cartoon.
Oh,
Like
cool.
it looks a lot like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. I don't know. Was Tom and Jerry Warner Brothers? It looks a lot like like an old fashioned Tom and Jerry cartoon.
Okay. That's
So
okay. Um, so Netflix has been doing the interactive content for a while. Their first one was in 2018. It was Black Mirror Bandersnatch. Since then, they've done a number of interactive titles. Probably the most prominent was Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Kimmy versus the Reverend, I think was the name of it. After the series was over, they went back and did another episode that was all interactive. That was a ton of fun, and I did the same thing. It was a little bit more of a choose your own adventure type story versus trivia that got you things at the end. It's just you could go different ways through the story, which was interesting, and Bandersnatch was fairly similar, but those were pretty early. I'm not surprised that having people in house that work for the company who are experts in game theory would not take that concept and expand on it. So yeah, that I mean that
yeah,
totally makes sense.
I actually don't know if there's an easy way to see all the interactive titles on Netflix, but I just happened to do a little search, and like, so Cat Burglar is labeled as trivia, and I think they have another trivia game that is either out or coming out. But then they have like other interactive things, like there's a Captain Underpants one, and a Puss in Boots one, and Carmen San Diego one, and a Boss Baby one.
Uh huh.
Uh,
Animals on the loose.
so yes, so those are
Oh,
labeled as interactive,
uh oh. You ready?
but
Minecraft
yeah,
story mode interactive.
yes. Oh, I know all about that.
Okay.
Uh, that what they did is they had that actually was, see, the interesting thing is that actually was or is a game that existed outside of Netflix,
Was.
and they seem to have
Yes. Story mode
licensed it.
was story mode was done by the company that did all of the episodic games that just went out of business. Whose name has bloop, left my head. So here we are. I
So
can't
we
help now.
actually, my son actually played that on his PlayStation
Okay.
already. Although I showed it to him on Netflix, and then I think he also tried it there. And the other day we were scrolling through Netflix. He's like, "Oh, I got to play that." Telltale, apparently.
That's it.
Um, I get from the chat, but
Thank you, chat.
but anyway, yeah. So they are, turning the entertainment into a game.
Mm-hmm.
So that is uh, okay. That's nice. Uh, I did the choose your own adventure style. The choose your own adventure style episodes. I don't know. I found not as fun, but like
Sure.
when you had to do the trivia thing, that really got me. But anyway, yeah, sure. Netflix has to get into this. Besides, Netflix is, uh, as you reported last week, Netflix is trying to make it harder to share your password.
Right.
Netflix recently raised its rates, so ergo, they better start bringing some stuff, because spending $200 million on movies that people don't care that much about isn't really isn't
Yeah.
really the way.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
mean,
And we talk all the time about how many video streaming services there are. I know this is the gaming section, but we talk about how many video streaming services they are and how they're all trying to figure out how to differentiate themselves from each other. And this is one way to do it.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, a lot of, I mean, I guess I'll be keeping Netflix for a while, but it's not the streaming service that I use. It's not the streaming service that I use the most by any stretch of the imagination. Uh, I mean, I guess my wife uses a bit. I mean, I guess we end up watching at least a couple things a month, but by far now I'm using like three or four other services before, much more than Netflix. It yeah, I mean, I've used HBO Max a lot more. Of course, this is just me personally, but I've really gotten into BritBox now and using BritBox like every single day.
Yeah.
Prime Video. So yeah, I don't. They got to do stuff to make themselves ubiquitous, because also they just keep losing the license to good stuff, right? I
Right.
mean, didn't they just lose all the Star Treks? I think
Uh-huh.
so.
Yep. I think there's one piece of something left that I think expires at the end of this month. And then CBS All. Nope. Paramount Plus. Time traveled there for a second. CBS All Access. Paramount Plus will be the ultimate home for all Star Trek.
Yep.
So, and I guess, I mean, completely unrelated, for those things that are British that you want to watch that aren't on BritBox, you might be surprised that you might find it on Prime Video, because I found several of my shows over on Prime
Yes.
Video
Yes.
and was
Yes.
shocked by it.
Same.
Channel 4
Same.
and
Same.
Channel 4 and Dave stuff. I was shocked to find over on
There was some stuff on Prime, and Prime, of course, it has one thing over BritBox, unless you subscribe to BritBox via Prime, which is that the BritBox app doesn't do downloading. So,
mm,
uh, but between my mother and me, we are watching a ton of British mysteries. So uh, I have now also subscribed to Acorn TV, which is another streaming service that has some different shows than BritBox does, and also has some Australian shows too. So anyway,
I think what you're
that's neither
saying
here nor
is
there, but
we're going to have to go through and do a roundup of all of the PLUGHITZ live team and the the services that we use and rank
yes,
them as our favorite to least. Oh,
Yes.
that'll be a ton of
Yes.
fun.
I very well could do that.
That'll be a ton of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. But anyway, Netflix gaming. Like, I have a feeling that this is two prong. The first is bringing more games and more game engineers. 130 employees of this studio that they just picked up. So my guess is that they're trying to enhance their game catalog. Which, by the way, since November of last year when we first talked about this, and there were like 4 titles, I have to do at least 3 full screen swipes to see all the games that are available today. So they've added a ton of stuff since last we talked about this. But you're right. It could have to do also with making the interactive content for the platform, because game theory added into content really does turn into some fun stuff. I enjoyed the Kimmy Schmidt, Kimmy versus the Reverend episode almost as much as a regular episode. I know it should theoretically be better, but it wasn't. But it was one last hurrah in the storyline, which I appreciated. But yeah, it's probably a little bit to do with all of that. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live, Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell, because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.